Here are the biggest transfer rumours of the summer so far and how they might impact FPL. Now, the first transfer rumour to talk about is Mason Mount from Chelsea to Man United. I think it's obvious to everyone that last season, 22-23, in the Premier League was very disappointing. Played 24 games and only got 3 goals and 2 assists. Now, is this down to Mason Mount retracting or just Chelsea retracting as a whole? I think that whole dressing room last season was not a good place to be, and I feel like that impacted not just Mount but all the squad as a whole, to be honest. The season before, 21-22, he was exceptional. 32 games played in the Premier League. He scored 11 and got 10 assists. If we see that level of Mason Mount playing for Man United, I think we've got a really exciting signing, both for Man United and for FPL. I think obviously it remains to be seen how he fits into that team. I feel like Man United are going to start playing a 4-3-3, midfield being Mount, Bruno and Casemiro, and obviously Eriksen on the fringe could come in for either one of them. I think that's a really strong midfield. Certainly lots of goals in it. Would I pick him in FPL right away if he signed for Man United? I'm not sure. I think we're going to have to see if he's a starter for Man United. You know, Eriksen has been playing really well for them. Bruno is locked into that team, as is Casemiro. So I think it remains to be seen how Mount will fit into that team. But I think as an addition to the squad, he's going to be fantastic for Man United. My price prediction for Mason Mount, 6 million next season. Now, the next one I think is quite interesting because I must admit I have not been Kai Havertz's biggest fan ever since he signed for Chelsea. I don't think he's been quite as good as he was hyped up to be. Playing for Bayer Leverkusen, he was really the next big thing, not only in German football but in world football. And I think, to be honest, his projected career trajectory was a lot better than it has been so far. Does a signing for Arsenal, help him along that career trajectory? I'm not sure, to be honest, purely because I don't see him starting for Arsenal. Like, you got to think those front 4 players for Arsenal, Gabriel Jesus, Martinelli, Odegaard and Saka, I mean, they're pretty much locked in. So Havertz is going to add to the competition in that squad. And obviously with Arsenal finishing second, they're in the Champions League, so they're going to need more players in their squad to bolster things for rotation. Obviously Chelsea do not have European football to worry about next season. And I feel like Chelsea, they're going to have to offload some players this year, as we saw with Mount going to Man United, for example, and likewise with Havertz going to Arsenal. How this impacts FPL, I'm not too sure, to be honest. Like I said, I feel like he's going to be a bit of a squad player for Arsenal, which suggests to me he's not going to be playing, certainly at the start of the season anyway. Maybe if he finds some form, he replaces one of the players in the starting 11. But to start with, I think I'm going to avoid and watch and wait. My price prediction for Havertz, should he sign for Arsenal, 7 million. Okay, next up, we've got a really exciting player, in my opinion, and that's Barella potentially moving to Newcastle. I've got to admit, I think Barella is genuinely one of the best midfielders in world football. We've seen his quality playing for Italy in international tournaments, and to be honest, I feel like he was Inter's best player in the Champions League final as well. I feel like he had a really good game. Obviously showed up by the fact that City were just a more dominant and better team. I think this is going to be an unbelievable signing for Newcastle if they can pull it off. He's had a decent record of attacking returns as well. It's nothing to write home about. He's not breaking the world in terms of returns or anything, but should he come in at a reasonable price in FPL, I think he could be an option. So last season, played 35 games in Serie A, scored 6 and got 7 assists. The season before, he only played 29 games, 3 goals and 13 assists. 29 games, 3 goals, 13 assists. If you got that in the Premier League playing FPL, you'd be quite happy if he was a decent price. So yeah, I think he's an interesting option, and I really do think he's going to propel Newcastle to that next level should he sign up. I really do think he's a world-class midfielder, and I think we'll see that should he move to the Premier League. I'm hoping he comes in at a decent price. My price prediction, should he sign for Newcastle, is 6 million. Okay, next up is another Newcastle signing, and that's James Maddison. I think this is a really exciting transfer, similar to the Barella one. God, could you imagine a midfield 3 of Maddison, Barella and Bruno Guimaraes playing for Newcastle? I think that's unbelievable. That's a really good midfield, and in my opinion, probably a title challenging one. Now, Leicester themselves had a disappointing season last year. There's no denying that, but Maddison, I still feel played really well. He seems to be getting around 10 goals and 10 assists per season. That seems to be the standard that he plays at. And who knows, maybe playing for Newcastle, that could go up a little bit. Whether, the thing is with Maddison is he takes quite a lot of set pieces. And with Newcastle having Trippier, who is an equally good, if not better, set piece taker, that might take away from them a little bit. But obviously Newcastle are a better side than Leicester were. I think this is really exciting both for the Premier League, for Newcastle and for FPL. And should he sign for Newcastle, I think he's a genuine option to start with in your team. My price prediction for Maddison, should he play for Newcastle next season? At the moment, he's a championship player playing for Leicester, so he's not going to be classified in FPL as it stands. I'm going to go 8 million. And that's the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Little bit of insight into the biggest transfer rumours this summer and how they might impact the FPL game. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a like rating and subscribe to the channel. Should just be about there. I know there are plenty of other transfer rumours I haven't covered in this video. I've left space to make some more. So please watch out for them, and I'll see you in the next one.